we hear how this music artist overcame sexual abuse and is using every obstacle in life to propel towards her dream. Elle Mears is up next. Hey, Elle, welcome to the call. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's it going?
I am going. No, I'm going well. It's going good. Happy to finally have you on. It took a few tries, but life of a rock star. And
It's been
so,
really crazy. So yeah, sorry
no,
about that, but glad
cra-
to finally be on here.
crazy's good. Crazy's good. That means you're doing something,
Exactly.
and making it happen. And so for all our listeners, and to provide some context for everybody, share with us, who Elle is, and your journey, and how you got to where you are, where you're headed to. But, give us the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs. Give us the roller coaster ride.
Sounds good. Where to start? My gosh. So for anybody on here that's listening, so my name is Elle Mears. I'm a musician in Nashville. So I'm a recording artist here, kind of on the country pop genre. Which has been a super fun ride, super fun journey just to get this far. But as of right now, I'm touring. I'm actually literally sitting in the studio right now, cutting vocals on my next single that's coming out on May 10th. So I'm just kind of crazy doing that. But then there's a whole lot of other stuff that, I do and that kind of life has led up to. I'm actually a full-time realtor as well. I'm a real estate agent here in Nashville. I focus a lot on residential right now, but also investment properties and commercial properties. I am also, I've done bartending. I've done everything from waiting tables to hostessing to doing whatever it takes to kind of make it by to get to this point. And it's been a really crazy, fun journey. And I live to work and I absolutely love that. So, but the ultimate Elle is me who I am now. It's this awesome ride of I'm doing so many things, building investments and wealth opportunities, as well as touring and recording. And it's been incredible.
No,
So
that's
that's the
awesome.
start.
And so what are the goals? What's the goal? Who's Elle in, 5 years?
Sure. I think the biggest thing I'm working on right now is building my music portfolio. I've released a few things to Spotify this last year that have done really well. I've got a really big YouTube presence now, so I've been able to really build my followers there. Honestly, it's just to kind of build up that tour, really, really get to the place in my music career that I want to be, where I've got, a lot of, I'm headlining some different shows this time instead of opening, and where I'm getting to where I have, a few more radio spins, start getting some chart toppers. And that's going to be really fun to kind of see that all come to fruition. And then not only that, but with my real estate stuff, the goal is to be able to live off of the residual income from my investment properties and everything, and just be able to really focus on music and touring. And eventually, Elle in 5 years will probably own a beach house somewhere. I'm pretty stoked about that. So,
So from Nashville to a beach.
yeah, it's fun. You can actually kind of listen to the progression of my music. If you listen to some of the stuff that I put out 3, 4, 5 years ago, even, it's kind of I kind of started off as the beach girl, and a lot of my songs still am. At heart, I've kind of moved into a more commercial direction, but my songs were Tequila Me and Sand in Places It Shouldn't Be and things like that. So, but I'm a beach girl at heart. So if only Nashville was located on a beach, life would be perfect. But
It
no, that's
can
all
be,
right.
right? You can't. What is the saying, right? Like you can take Nashville out of the girl, or you can take the girl out of Nashville, but you can't take the Nashville out of the girl. So Nashville will be on a beach because it'll just be wherever you're at, right?
Exactly.
I don't know
And the
if the
goal
saying
eventually
was
is to have
about Nashville, but it's
oh,
from
pretty
wherever
much.
you're at, right?
Whatever home is, right?
Yeah.
Nashville's definitely home. So
Wonderful. And so, that's really a diverse background. So outside of the common sense answer of just doing whatever it takes to make it happen, what brought about all the different, bartending, customer service type positions, serving whatever it is, real estate, with the goal of ultimately having a, large music career?
yeah, it kind of came about just from, especially when you're just breaking into your music career and when you're just getting going. The number one thing you have to do is network. The number one thing you have to do is be good at talking with people. And I can go into this a little bit, further into our talk, but
Mm-hmm.
I come from a really, really hard background, and I came from kind of a really, really dark past where I had to put on front a whole lot, of being okay and being stronger. And eventually it wasn't a front anymore. It was kind of that telltale fake it till you make it. And all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden I was that person, and I was that outgoing, confident. And I realized that it was because of my relationships with people. So everything that I've done from, high school through college through, into my music career, and just kind of building with this end goal in mind, with this pinnacle that I'm trying to reach. It's built on a network of friends, of family, of people that I constantly am meeting and talking to, which has opened up so many other opportunities. So, when you're just getting started and you have no income like I did when I was in college, it's serving, it's hostessing, it's doing whatever you can. But I was talking with people all the time, which led to one opportunity, which led to another. And it was like, man, one of those, you start at the bottom, and then all of a sudden you have this network of people that kind of build you up. And then that
Mm-hmm.
opens up so many other opportunities, which is how real estate came about. A lot of my friends were talking to me, and they said, you'd be really good at this. And it's a great investment opportunity that, eventually you can live, you won't have to work in it necessarily. You can always work in it, but you can also get on the investment side and get residual income coming in. So you can really focus on the rest of it without having to give up so much of your time. And honestly, that's kind of how I got to where I am now. My main focus is conserving as much time as I possibly can, having time to live and time to do music and time to really put it into my passions, while, being able to pursue everything. And it's been an incredible ride so far, just getting there. And I'm still working towards it. But when you realize the value of time and what you want to do with it, it makes doing all the work that it takes to put in so much easier.
Oh yeah, it's like that movie that what's his face made. NSYNC, dude, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You're like,
directions,
wow, I don't know which one. The main one, the only one that when and yeah, NSYNC, dude, Justin Timberlake. The movie was In Time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was about that people are so focused on money and all of that stuff, and
Yep.
obviously the control of big business, and we can really dive into some details if you want to, but just the importance of time and how it's just easily taken for granted. And but time is the one commodity that you never get back. You can't ever replace it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so important. It's so important to anybody that wants to pursue something, is that you got to figure out what you're doing that's going to help you balance out that time, because time freedom is obviously the ultimate goal. When people talk about wanting to make money, sure, they might be money hungry and things of that sort, but if they have the right heart and the right mind behind it, it's really they want the freedom that the money provides.
Exactly.
I want to not
Exactly.
have a
And it's,
boss. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want.
yeah. And
That costs money.
again, it's putting in the investment up front and the work. You have to be able to work for it, but then it's loving what you choose to put your time into. You realize how valuable of a commodity that it is. So I think that's the number one thing that I've grown into with this, and why, I went through all those other, jobs and careers and went from place to place to place. I have an insane work ethic. I am always working. I am always going. I never stop.
It's a good
And
thing.
so no matter what I've been doing, that's kind of, I've been trying to figure out exactly which grooves I'm finding my way into. And with the music, obviously that's music is me. Music has always been my first language, before even, talking to people was.
Okay.
So that's where one of those things that I put most of that into. But even like with the real estate thing, I enjoy that. It's a good investment of my time, because I'm working with people. I love talking with people and sharing my story and sharing, in on their stories and what's happening in their lives. And it's a great way to use that. So
Yeah,
it all comes down to what is worth the time.
for sure. You should check out this totally side note that has nothing to do with this call, but I had Jess Lenovel on here on another call.
Oh,
And
awesome.
she's been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, and all that type of stuff for her accomplishments in real estate. So you should check out her, because she has like this program to help realtors, like kind of
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
get that. It's the Listings Labs, but check her out. She's on the website for the podcast. But yeah, so she has this thing, but it's ultimately to give realtors, that their time back, because it's you
Mm-hmm.
can make good money in real estate and things of that sort, but you will also be burning a lot of hours
Mm-hmm.
doing it, and churning through leads and trying to find leads and just kind of doing old school practices
Mm-hmm.
in a new school era. And it's like it's an industry that's never gonna disappear, so it's definitely a great industry to get into. But
Absolutely.
the way that you run your, your business, you're basically a sole proprietor. The way that
Absolutely.
you run your business, your marketing, like, needs to change. And she's figured out some hacks that's really helped her,
Mhm.
level up in that game. Or you can just partner up with Grant Cardone and,
Yeah. And I mean, in a lot of ways, though, that's exactly the cool thing about kind of what I'm doing is I treat music exactly like that too.
hmm
I'm basically a sole proprietor. I haven't signed with a label or a publisher. I retain 100% of my publishing. I actually own my own publishing company that I house everything under. This last year, I actually did start my own company, and I ended up actually bringing on a manager and a couple other people too, just to kind of help with that process.
yeah.
And it's been incredible, but I treat it just like that. It's about a grind, but it's incredible when every outlet that of work that you have, for me,
Yep.
music and real estate, but all of them are network based. So that was one thing. I actually just got done with a seminar. It was called ninja selling, or it was a ninja installation. And basically what it was about creating, like, saving, just like you were saying with Jess, it's saving your time. And it's about how to utilize the database that you already have, how to develop on relationships, how to get people, to understand you on a personal level and what you're doing and connect with them there, which is exactly what I'm trying to do with music. I'm going after people that I know and people that are already fans of my music, and then counting on referrals, so to speak, so word of mouth, and all of a sudden it spreads, and then it's a lot more genuine. It's not, you're not buying numbers. You're not, you have a much more sustainable income. It's like, man, you get 1,000 people that want to buy your album every time and that
Yep.
want to come to your shows and buy your merch. That goes so much further than having 100,000 people that are just bought numbers. So it's all in the same boat.
Oh yeah, and especially nowadays, just the way that the society and the economy has transitioned into this technology age. Like, you don't even have to sign with a label. There's so many channels that you can get caught on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before, there was a guy sitting behind a desk, and there were only about 5 of them, and they decided whether or not you were going to make it in music. But
Yep.
now you have the YouTube, Spotify's, and so on and so forth. There's just so many SoundCloud. There's
Yeah.
just so much stuff out there. Like, you don't need a label. And so
That's how
yeah,
I got
I
found,
agree
actually,
with you
with YouTube.
100% on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Just like that one guy. I don't know his name, but the singer for Journey.
Yep.
And it's like they just found him one day, and he hits the notes, and he can hold them. So it's like, yeah, it's like it's crazy what is available out there. But before we go down too far down that rabbit hole, because I will, um, share with us. You kind of dabbled on it. Share with us a little more about your past, and how that's really contributed to
Yeah.
who you are today. Because everybody's got air quotes here, skeletons in the closet that
Hmm.
that we try to just shut in and forget about. But I think the more authentic we are, the more it helps people realize that, hey, life's not supposed to be good and great. Like, it might look like I got it all figured out, but I'm still figuring it out.
Absolutely.
I'm just further along in my journey than you are on yours, so let me help you out. Like, here's what I did. So
Hmm.
share with everyone what kind of
Of course.
the skeletons.
Yeah, the skeletons in the closet for sure. And I'll be the first to admit this isn't always the first thing that I always talked about it for the longest time. It was something I think uh, it almost went the reverse order, where I felt like if I talked about it, or if I brought it to light, kind of what I'd been through, I was just another notch on a peg. I was just another victim. I was just another, using something as an excuse. I don't know. I felt like just another peg,
hmm
and I never wanted people. I've like I said, I work extremely hard, and that's one of the things that I think I value most about myself. And I never wanted anybody to give me anything because I had this chip on my shoulder. So it took a long time for me to actually open up about where I had come from, because I wanted it to be about the work that I put in, not about the past that I came from. But in so many ways, the past that I came from defined why I worked so hard. Um, and I mean, the start of it was I did come from a background of sexual abuse. I was born into a tumultuous relationship that my parents had, to say the least, and there were things. I'm a little different. I have a really, really finite memory in some ways, and I have memories that I can pinpoint from when I was like I swear it was like 6 months. The things that I described in my room, we had moved out of this house when I was about 7 months old, and I can remember things from that room. Blew my mom's mind. But so I think I started remembering things really early, and I think some of that did have to do with traumatic events. But my biological dad, but from when I was really, really little, started doing things that were incredibly inappropriate with me, and there was a lot of grooming going on. But I ended up in the ER when I was 5. I had to be back there, and I mean, to the point that there was a traumatic incident, and I needed stitches, and there were police reports filed, and there were so many things going on around it that it was just completely, I think I have flashbacks of that memory, and it was just one of the most horrific things I think I can ever remember. But then growing up, I think once I got old enough that I started really remembering things, and that, I was able to understand and comprehend what was happening, it stopped. But we adopted 2 girls into my family then at that time. They were actually cousins of mine, but we ended up adopting 2 girls into my family. And within a year they were both older than I was. And within a year of them being there, my biological dad started the same thing with the oldest of the 2 girls that came in. And at one point I walked in on them, and I was the only person in my family that knew. And that was really hard and heavy to keep. So I had to keep this secret, and I got told that that I would be in, huge trouble. I got, I think I was like 7, and a 7-year-old hearing her dad tell her, everybody's going to hate you. Nobody's going to believe you. If you tell this, you can't, the tearing apart the family will be your fault. Like that's what I got inundated with. And so I had to stay quiet, and I had to carry this burden on my shoulders, and trying to be a 7 or 8-year-old dealing with that was just mind-boggling. So eventually they were caught, and they went through all the legal jargon in the process, that everything that, at that point, it was kind of a sticky situation, because the oldest girl they actually ended up deciding was of consensual age. So it became a different battle, but it was just messed up. The whole thing was really messed up. And then, not only having gone through it myself when I was really little, having to keep that secret and deal with how do I deal with that when I was, 7 or 8, then I had to go through my parents' divorce, and watching my mom's life fall apart, and her being just absolutely crushed. And she was at the time going through law school, trying to be an attorney. So she was already gone 90% of the time because she was in school. So it was my sister and I. The other girl, the younger of the 2 girls that came, and we became really close because we were all each other had.
Yeah.
So going through that, we almost got evicted from our house because we lived in a house that was too big. Kind of a crazy, crazy ride from that whole time until I got to when I was about 12, and my mom ended up remarrying. And that was great. It gave us a lot of boundaries. I think coming from, we were from a very, very broken world at that point. And there was no such thing as boundaries or guidelines or, what was wrong and what was right. Everything was just kind of, everything hurt. And that's all that I knew. But, we, for the first time, then somebody stepped into our lives that gave us some boundaries, that gave us, a positive, space to grow in. And then life looked a little bit more normal. We moved and we grew up, and I don't know, he started teaching me things about work ethic. And he would never let me use any of what had happened as an excuse. And I think I owe a lot of that to him, because he didn't believe in accidents. And I think part of me to this day still holds on to that a little bit. I do believe, obviously, in accidents, and that something's happened. Trust me, I'm the biggest klutz, and I mess stuff up all the time. But to some point, all of it is within our control, and everything that you do is dependent on your mindset. And if you have this mindset, if your mindset is stronger than your body, then you're in a good place. So
That's so true.
Yeah, so I think I learned from that, and he was the first person that, even as a kid, I had already been through something incredibly hard, so he wasn't going to let me ease up. He was like, no, sure, you've been through something hard, but he goes, you're going to use that to get you to the next place, and it's going to be even harder. And then you're going to use that to get you to the next place, and it's going to be even harder. And so far it's been true, but because I think of when I saw it that way, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I probably didn't even realize this until I was probably in my, after high school, for sure, probably, my first part of college. It was, you know what? I did that. I made it through that. I got to, yes, that sucked and that was hard, but on the scale of everything, pain is pain.
Hmm.
Pain hurts for everybody just the same. So yes, I went through that, but that story is no bigger than somebody who just is going through a hard time watching their parents just get divorced, without the rest of it. Or, somebody that's going through something 10 times worse than I am. Their pain feels like mine and mine feels like theirs. So you learn to harness that and you learn to move with that and use that as a defining factor, that if I can get through that, then I can get through the next pain. I can get through the next pain. I can get through the next, and that might be growing pain. Sometimes it's struggle. Sometimes it's, I was broke. I was flat broke throughout college. And I was like, all right, I can't literally afford to go through the McDonald's drive-through here while I'm in college. I went to Belmont University here in Nashville too, but I had paid my own way through school and I have my own student loans, which was great. And I'm still proud of that. And I'm, that's a whole different side of the story, but there were times I literally couldn't afford to go through McDonald's, and I was like, all right, I can't even afford ramen. Like, what do I do? And, you work through it.
What?
And
You were a broke college student? Those exist?
No way,
I thought
right?
they were unicorns. That's a whole nother topic. You're bringing up a whole bunch of topics that I go off on.
Right. I know. But it's like, man, when you're in the middle of it though, man, it feels like the world's about to end and you're like, holy crap, what? I don't know what to do. And then, but then again, when you're down the road through it, just like that was no different than me going through everything I went through when I was 7. It felt the same. It was the same pain. It's like, if I can handle that, I can handle this.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost, with these traumatic events that happened to you while you were so young, because it's almost, because everybody is socially conditioned to repeat the same cycle, basically almost before you're even 2, 3.
Right.
You're just going to repeat the same cycle without even knowing you're repeating the same cycle, because it comes up on the surface different. But when you look at it, you're repeating the same stuff. And so you got socially conditioned to kind of live with pain, obviously, as a norm, but as a negative norm, where it was eating away at you and you weren't allowed to talk about it and things of that sort. But, you had we'll call him your second dad, who was a positive, and he almost got you to go through a little bit of a transformation where it's like, hey, you still need to learn to live with pain, which is great parenting, because I think kids need to struggle more. I'm not for this little rinky-dink entitlement society that's trying to take hold. Like, my kids are,
the participation trophy.
Yeah, it's like 8th place trophies, and like in Olympia in Washington, they have a legit soccer league where it's ballless soccer, and they don't keep score because they don't want to hurt the kids' feelings, and the kids just need to use their imagination, so they never experience loss. And it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like, great. Yeah, good luck getting your first job and having your boss talk to you.
Right.
It's like, hey, you're not doing it right. Well, I deserve a raise. You're fired. I'm going to tell my mom. Good. She's fired too. But anyway, I love that you just, you touched on it. Like you can't have a victim mentality. Like, if you want something, you have to work for it. And so, how did being transformed, really, for lack of better words, into conditioning yourself to live with pain as a positive, but it wasn't even living with the pain, it was using the pain as kind of fuel to get you to the next level?
Absolutely.
Like, and how has that really, because I think that's one of the biggest things that's just popping you, because I don't know anybody, like, yeah, I'm a full-time realtor, I've got this, I've got these, then I've got this, I'm doing my real estate events, but I spend 24/7 in the studio, and oh, by the way, I've got this whole gym life going on where I'm all about, like, helping everybody get fit, and then every once in a while I'm gonna post pictures of me relaxing, and it's like, when the heck do you have time to relax? You're too busy, like, selling real estate or working out or freaking in the studio. Like, what do you, like, you know what I mean? But it's a controlled chaos. I love controlled chaos. It's almost exactly like I thrive in chaos. Like, if it's just dead, then it's like, I don't know what to do with myself. But if there's chaos, it seems like I'm more at peace, because I can just, it's controlled chaos.
It's loving the pain that you're in. It's picking the pain and loving the pain. Pain is such a, there's so many different levels of it, and it's like you learn to use it as, like you said, fuel. You take it and you mold it, and if you can understand that it's just a different kind of fuel, you can absolutely just grind forward. And like, especially coming from something that it was so dark and not positive, I am one of the most like positive, upbeat people. Like my friends tell me I'm exhausting to be around sometimes because of how much energy I bring in, I bring into every conversation. And it's just, I don't ever want to be any other kind of way, because I've learned, because no matter, again, the pain thing, I take that as fuel. And when there is chaos and when there's so much to do, then I have purpose. And I think that's what drives me, is when I'm doing music, I have purpose. Music is my language. It's my heart and my soul. So when I'm in the studio laying down vocals, when I'm listening to this new track of this song that I wrote come to life, like I'm sitting and doing it right now, it's the most incredible experience. So it's the purpose of not only doing it, but then sharing it and like getting it out there and hoping that somebody else will hear it and get moved by it the way that I was when I wrote it. Mm-hmm. And that's incredible. So it's kind of this movement in that sense. And then with real estate, my purpose is, that's investment, that's long-term, that's freedom of time, which we'd already talked about. When I talk about gym, that's an investment in my health, that's longevity, that's taking care of myself physically, that's confidence, that's everything else that leads into both of the other two. It's like they're all interconnected. And then, there's, you need time, you need peace. I'm in a relationship now too, and that's been another thing. I've had to balance everything else with this incredible relationship.
What a drag.
I know, what a drag, right? he's pretty cute too. But it's just when you learn to balance all of that, and it's this controlled chaos, and you learn how to juggle it all, and you enjoy the process of figuring it out. You enjoy the process of organizing it, and sometimes it's madness and chaos, and sometimes you lose control, and you're like, holy crap, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start. And then piece by piece, you learn how to it's like you grow it all together, and all of a sudden, I mean, I've just had this even within the last 6 months. It seems like everything is succeeding at the same time. It's like you juggle it, and you work and you work and you work and you work, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. All of a sudden it clicks. It's like, there's this picture that I loved, and I remember seeing it. God, I think it was in college when I was at Belmont, but it was this miner, and he's mining and he's mining, and you can see the trail that he's mined behind him. And there's two of them, actually. One's on top of the other. Yep. And one of them, I know which one you're talking about. I think I posted it. There's a hole. Yep. And then there's a diamond at the end. And then there's the one is turning around to walk away, and the other is keep going. And he's like he's a foot away from it. And if he had just kept going, he would have gotten to it first. And it's like, man, I've always thought about that way, that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how crazy, or no matter how helpless I feel, or like I have no idea what I'm doing, I keep going. And it's like you keep building and building and building and working, and then all of a sudden it's just like, all right, found the diamond.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. Pain isn't pain. It's just you stretching. You're just growing. Like, pain is growth. It's like, is it going to kill you? No, then relax.
Exactly, like your muscles. I mean, you literally
embrace
have to tear your muscles by working out to make them grow, to make them stronger. You have to hurt to make it better.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is humans naturally are, creatures of comfort. We like comfort. We like comfortable. We don't like change. But growth is change. And that's one of the most important things that I try to stress is, like, if you are pursuing something, you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because anything that you're going to really want is going to force you to level up. And guess what leveling up does? It challenges you. It makes you work. It makes you grind. You got to be able to stay up till 2-3 in the morning working on something. And then that's why I always say, like, you have to pursue happiness. Like, you can't be doing something for approval, because it's too hard if you're just wanting approval.
Yep.
Like, you wouldn't be putting in the hours that you're putting in with music and everything like that if there was no passion behind it, if all it was a dollar sign.
Absolutely.
Because it's too hard. Success is too hard for it to just be about something monetary. And even if you achieve it, like, you're still not going to be fulfilled. There's a lot of miserable rich people, and so you need to have a passion. You need to find what's going to drive you, and it's different for everybody. It's relative for everybody. Some people might have that passion of, hey, I'm fine working my 9-to-5 job, making my $40,000 a year, because I get to spend so many nice weekends with my family, and then we go on a nice vacation once a year. Hey, if you're happy doing that, like truly happy, do you. Don't worry about trying to level up. Some people might be happy at 150, and they try to shoot for 200, but then that 200 comes with misery.
Yeah.
Because it just added that little bit extra that pushed you past what your limit was. you know? So stop trying to keep up with other people and stop trying to, you know, keep up with the Joneses, you know, air quote, and just pursue your passion. So how has that helped you? Like, because everything you're talking about, like you gave exact reasons why you're doing it. Like my health, this is why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to take better Instagram pictures. I'm doing it because I want to live longer, you know, and I want to live a healthier life. Like I get injured less when I work out. It's amazing, you know, or, you know, I mean, I don't even know how it correlates to you being in the, you know, being able to work longer or more efficient hours, you know, in the studio or anything like that. But it's just giving you an overall balanced life. But so how has really ensuring that you're pursuing happiness and not approval, because you touched on it earlier, like with, you know, social media and things like that, it's like I'm not here for likes. I'm here to like influence and have a reason I'm doing it. Like there's a passion and a purpose behind what I'm doing. So how has that really affected not only your music or your real estate, but just all of it, like the whole pie? How has that affected? Because I think that's a really big topic that isn't talked about enough.
Yeah. It's affected everything. I mean, it's not only one of the biggest topics, it's the topic. That it encompasses everything that I do, everything that I've done, and every seminar I've listened to, class I've taken, motivational speaker that I've listened to, there's a common thread, and it's exactly that. It's pursue passion, it's pursue love, it's pursue something bigger than the shallow mindset that we put ourselves in. It's think bigger, do bigger, be bigger. And I think when you have to do a lot of soul searching. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I maybe that's part of the reason I've also been through so many career ups and downs and jobs is you have to figure it out, and it's grinding and it's a pain. It is complete chaos. But when you're working to figure out what your passion is and exactly who you are, that is the most powerful thing that you can do. And then the rest falls into place. I remember there's a diagram. It's 3 circles that are called all within each other. And it's kind of the entrepreneur mindset. The very, very center is why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What is your purpose? Like, why does the rest of this make sense? And then it's the what. What are you doing to get to the why? And then there's the how. How are you going to do what you need to do to get to why you're doing it? And it's kind of, I think I've spent so much time thinking and working towards really getting to my 3 circles, so to speak. You know, why am I doing this? Why am I who I am? And a lot of that did have to do with my past. My why is based on, I came from this awful background. But you know what? I am one of millions that have come from that background. And instead of using it in the victim mentality, I want not only for myself to be stronger, to be better, to overcome that, and to live this magnificent, incredible life. But I also want to show other people that you know, there's no reason to hang on to that stuff. There are certain things that we can't choose, and then there are certain things that we can. And what we can choose is how we wake up every morning. What we can choose is what that why looks like. What we can choose is how and what we do with our day-to-day lives. And then eventually that's where it all came down for me. It came to what is important to me, and why do I want to do this? And like I touched on earlier, the fitness thing, the music thing, the real estate thing, all of them are building into this person that I am building myself into. And I'm in the middle of the grind. I'm in the middle of the journey. And I guarantee you in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I will be a completely different person than I am right now. And I'm so looking forward to that.
No,
I never
love
want to stop. You know, I never, ever want to stop. So I think that pursuit of passion, it makes the time, again, like what it came down to at the beginning, the time worth spending. If you're going to put your time, the one commodity you cannot get back, put it into something worth doing. Put it into who you are. And there are so many, pieces of that I guarantee you I'm going to achieve down the road. You know, with real estate, it's going to be, I keep telling my boyfriend, and I laugh a lot, but I keep telling him, like, I'm going to own a building. I don't know how. I haven't even sold a house yet. I just started doing this. Like, I haven't even sold a house yet.
I love it.
I'm going to own a building.
I'm
maybe
clapping.
multiple.
That's what that noise is for everybody. It's like, what the heck's that banging? Why is he pulling out a hammer? It's like, no, I am clapping, because it's like, yes, this is what I'm trying to tell everyone. It's so nice when somebody else can say it for me.
Right? But I mean, it's the little things. You start with the little things and you build into the big things, and you think bigger, you want bigger, and you go for it. And the steps that lead up there in the chaos will make sense eventually.
You absolutely have to. Like, you have to set big goals, right? You know, and it's just like if you're not setting a big goal, then why are you settling?
Yeah, and I'm a
And
firm
but
believer in
yeah,
setting bigger goals, almost to the point of unrealistic. Not necessarily out, crazy, but think
it
the
has to be
mindset that you have
unrealistic.
to be in has to be so much bigger than the current state of mind that you're in, because
Yeah,
again, it forces change. You have to get uncomfortable, and you have to be okay thinking, hey, that thing that I think is impossible is possible.
absolutely. You have to think unrealistic, and there's proof that you have to think unrealistic if you want to have something big happen in your life. Albert Einstein,
Mm-hmm.
you know, hey, I'm gonna make this little wire shine brighter than the brightest candle,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is looking at him like, bro, you have lost your mind. You know, if the majority of people don't think you're crazy based off of your goal, then your goal isn't big enough. You
Yep.
know, like Henry Ford. Hey, we can't build a V8. Nah, don't worry, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's literally impossible. We're scientists. Yeah, figure it out. You know, and it's just anything like building the car, like the telephone, like the plane. Hey, we're humans, birds fly. We're gonna figure out how to make this big wooden metal contraption that's heavy lift
Yep.
up off the ground. What are you talking about? Thank you, right?
Exactly. The world, it
Thank you,
moves
Wright
on
brothers.
innovation. The big thinkers are the ones that change everything, So I feel like if that's one thing I could pass on to anybody, I just did a seminar a couple of weeks ago too, and they had us writing down numbers, about what we want to, it's talking about what you want to make, like, what's your goal. And this to me, again, it's not been my most important thing. The most important thing to me is time. And that's where, of course, who wouldn't, it's not about being rich or being wealthy. It's about control of your time, and
Yep.
it's about what is it going to take to be able to achieve that. So it's like, I'm writing down these numbers and stuff, and I look over at my neighbor, and mine's like 4 times bigger than hers, and I was like, oh no.
Well, I mean, that's what they say, right? I mean, everybody has this like thing with like a million. A million's not that much.
Right.
That's 20 years at 50K a year.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
it's funny that
what?
number is
Like
shrinking, and
no, like
it's something you said the other day too. It's funny, the $100 bill is now the adult $1 bill from when we were kids.
oh
It's
yeah,
but that just shows you how much money is liquid, how much it really doesn't matter on that bigger scale. I mean,
yeah,
yes, of course it's important, and you do want to, there are things you need to take care of, and yes, having part of the life that I'm sure everybody wants
for
involves
sure.
money.
Yeah, I'm like
But
there's not you're not gonna feel the difference between 100 million and 120 million,
yeah,
but you're gonna feel a difference between 1 million and 10 million. So
absolutely.
you might as
And
well shoot for 20.
exactly. But I guarantee you that the difference there too is if you are actually working and miserable getting to that 20 million, then you're going to wish you'd only made the one. It's
Yeah.
it's how you feel getting there. And I feel like 20
No, it's
million
all
is
about the journey.
absolutely achievable
It's
when you love what
all
you're
about
doing
the
and you're
journey.
willing to put the time in
For
and
sure.
the effort and then the passion in to get there. Then it doesn't feel like work. And that's when this whole working 24 hours a day, I don't feel like I'm working all the time. And that's why I can go chill out by the pool for a minute, and why I can take a breather and have a successful relationship and everything else, is because none of this feels like work to me. I'm like the other week, literally I clocked 90 hours that week, just over 90. And it's like, I was tired. That was pushing it. But I mean, it didn't feel like work to me, which blows my mind.
No, I'm right there with you. Like I get it. And it just people they get so stuck thinking that it's this 9 to 5 thing, right? It's like, "Oh, 9 to 5, that's all I'm supposed to do." And it's like, "Oh, 90 hours a week. Like, oh my gosh, like I have to do this." Like, "Why? You're already doing 90." "No, I'm not." "Yeah, you are, cuz you got 9 hours at your job, cuz you got your hour lunch, you got an hour and a half, 2 hours each way. You're sitting at 12 hours a day. Guess what you're at? You're right at about 90 hours a week."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, "Oh, but I don't work on the weekends." Are you still doing stuff on the weekends because you can't do anything during the week? So yeah, you're working just for yourself, but you're not investing in yourself. You're checking boxes. But you know what I mean? Like that's why passion is so important. And but because when you have the passion and when you have the drive and especially the work ethic, that's huge. And it helps you overcome adversity. It helps you set those big goals and actually have the mind capacity to know that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a matter of getting there. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Like, am I going to fail? Absolutely. I'm going to fall
99
flat on my
times you get the
face.
one, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
going to
find
fall
99
flat on my
ways not to
face.
make a light bulb.
Yeah, exactly. You know, perfect example. And it also, one of the things that it keeps you from doing is having a victim mentality. Because if you're too busy working towards your goal, you don't have time to feel like a little pansy and want somebody to feel bad for you.
No.
You just don't have the time to do it because you're too busy like trying to progress and working your process and going through your process to sit back and just be like, poor me.
Yep,
You know?
absolutely.
And so one thing I would like to kind of touch on since you brought it up is, so how has it changed? I mean, I can only assume that he's a cool guy. So how has it changed going from single, hustling, jamming, grinding? Because you know how to do you. You're doing you. You're in your groove. You're in your grind. And like you said, things are clicking.
Mm-hmm.
And then this dude comes in to your life. Because relationships are hard. They take work. If you're with the right person, they can be easier than normal and easier than others, you know, but it takes being with the right person who understands you. That's why I think authenticity is so important, because people try to just have their representative, you know, be talking to the other person in like for the first 3-6 months, and then 9-12 months into it, then the real you comes out, and then they're like, wait, whoa, who's this person?
Yep.
It's like, well, you should have started with that person to begin with. You know, and so how has that, you know, helped your grind even more? Like knowing you have like, because now you have a partner in life who's just like right there in it with you. He's maybe not there like literally in it with you, but he's in it with you, you know?
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's made all the difference. And this one has been so different from my past relationships that I have been in. And I've been very, I don't want to say picky, I'll say selective.
You can say it. I think people need to be picky.
Right. But it's, you know, because my time is valuable. And like I said, my effort, and I'm one of those with everything else, just like with everything else in my life, I'm all in. If I'm going to give my time to this, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with everything I've got. And that's how I am with my relationships too, like family, friends, everything. But then with him, his name is Ryan. When Ryan came in, it was just a different world. He's incredibly successful in his own right. And the first thing kind of that was happening when we first started dating is he was in the middle of grinding too. He had just moved to Nashville. He had just gone through a job change, and he's that kind of guy that he'll go after certification after certification. He's in cybersecurity and in music too. So he's dual careered just like me.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a rock star. He is self-producing his own album right now on top of just having gotten 2 new certifications, is studying for a 3rd certification. And I mean, he's absolutely killing it. But both of us have that constant grind mentality. And it's been he pushes me. And I think that's the most important part. He equally loves me and pushes me at the same time. And I can do the same for him. So I think that's the most important part, is all of a sudden I have a balance. I can push him and I can invest in him, and then he will equally push me and invest in me right back. And he told me the other week, he's like, I came and I talked to him and I was like, I feel like we haven't spent a lot of time together this week. You know, we both have been so crazy. And he goes, yeah, but he goes, this is all just for now. He goes, this is not how it's going to be. You know, we're always going to be moving and grinding, but both of us are working to have more time, to be able to, you know, spend more time together, to, you know, and doing everything else that we want to do. I mean, heck, we're planning, we just got selected, we won the lottery to hike Half Dome in Yosemite in August. So we're going to go hike Half Dome and go, you know, hike a huge peak in California. We're going to Tokyo next April. We're going to go spend a couple of weeks out there. So we have our heads to the grindstone right now. And it's so awesome to have somebody to help keep you motivated with those goals in mind. And not only like immediate goals, but lifetime goals. You know, he's like, no, I will never, ever be mad if we don't have as much time together right now because you're working, because he's working, and we're both just in that mindset and in this crazy place of let's make it happen.
No, I love that.
That's so invaluable.
Yeah. So touch on that from the woman's perspective, because it's easy for guys to grind. I'm not a sexist. I'm not like anything like that. It just naturally how we're made in our brains. It's easy for us to just focus on work and grind, you know, like that's in our DNA to be air quote, you know, the provider. So work, for the most part, comes natural to us, and putting the relationships as, you know, not the sole focus of my life. But women, females, they're just kind of made to need that connection a little more than men.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of
Yeah.
talk to to this is going to be for the women or for the guys that would relate to this, is if someone's wanting this type of life and somebody's grinding, but they also complain that they're not spending enough time with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say they're with a partner and they're there and they're grinding, but now they're complaining that there's not enough time. Kind of talk to them, because I think it's kind of like, hey, you're putting your
Sure.
partner between a rock and a hard place, and that's
Mm-hmm.
going to end in disaster one way or another.
Yeah. I think the most important part there is understanding that even as a girl, like nothing is unreachable to us anymore. I mean, we've come so far just with, equality laws and everything else. I mean, that stuff aside, we don't need to dive into all of that. But as far as the relationship aspect, it is hard. It is so hard. And it's, I personally feel a lot of times like I'm sacrificing part of the relationship, but it takes, like you said, the right person and the person driving there with you, helping push you, that you can help push. And then it comes down to mutual respect. When you respect one another's journey, and you understand that you are an integral part of it, just like they're an integral part of yours, then it kind of takes away some of that pressure a little bit. But then I think the other way of kind of combating that, we are such a disconnected society right now. Everybody's on their phones. Everybody is always doing something else. I'm so guilty of it. I'm constantly on my phone, on my laptop. I'm constantly writing, I'm writing down lyrics for a new song. I'm driving to the next place here or there. I'm always, it's hard to get me in one moment. It's hard to get me to pay attention to what's happening right in front of me. And I have to be very intentional with that. So when I'm spending my time with Ryan, and I'm still a work in progress. He'll probably argue with me on this. But
Don't worry, Ryan. She's talking about you, so you're good.
Right.
We just had a whole conversation about you. You're good.
Right. But it's being intentional with that time. It's time. There's a reason why one of the love languages is quality time. It's not just spending time. It's quality time. Oh. And the importance of that is get off your phone. Get out of the TV. The other night, I kid you not, we are obsessed with sake. So he bought a new sake that he wanted to try. And then we got 2 little cans of this other little sake, and we had some sake left over from another night. We probably drank 3 bottles of sake. Not that I want to admit that over live, but we probably drank 3 bottles of sake. We literally sat on the couch just talking about life and about contemplating, we talked about religion. We talked about, the meaning of life, about time. We talked about work ethic. We talked about relationships and men versus, women, and kind of, how things have evolved. I mean, we went there, and it was so much fun and refreshing just to be there and be with him and disconnect from all the other stuff that I was doing then for a minute, not the laptop, not the phone, not the real estate, not the music, not the fitness, and just be with him. Nice. So I think that's the most important part. Yeah, maybe we only got a few hours, but that few hours that we got to do that felt like 15.
Yeah, and it's relative for everybody.
Absolutely.
That those few hours might be what another person needs a week, to fill up their bank. And so it's all relative, and you guys get it. Like, being that you guys are both in the same industry, with music and things like that, is there a little sense of competition on who's getting to the Grammys first?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the fun part of it. I write some of his stuff too, and he's like, don't go record this. I'm like, yeah, depends on who gets in the studio first.
This is true.
But I think it's fun. It's a very fun competitiveness, and it's challenging. He is an incredible producer, guitar player. I'm a better lyricist writer, and it drives him crazy that he can't come up with the lyrics that I do sometimes, and it drives me crazy that I can't sit down at Pro Tools and know what in the heck I'm doing, and he does.
So you guys together are just really like the dynamic duo when it comes to like someone's gonna it's not like someone's gonna make it, and then once that person makes it, we both made it.
Pretty much, exactly. When we might,
so long as you're the one that makes it, though, right?
Right.
It's like, no, yeah, once one of us makes it, then we both make it, because we're gonna bring the other one with us. So long as it's me, though.
Right, but by us, I mean me.
Yeah. So do what you do. Just you're fighting for second. Just letting you know, like.
Oh yeah, we have it's actually a whole joke in our friend group. We have a plaque, pretty much, that says "Welcome to second place."
Oh, that's fantastic. So. Who gets? I want the exclusive. I need the exclusive when you get the Grammy.
Oh, I will. I promise you, it'll be all yours.
Oh, I got it. Okay, it's on. It's live now. This is gonna be on the internet. So now it's like, hey, she just made 10 million. Hey, good. I got it recorded that she said I get the exclusive. Where's my lawyer? We're gonna.
Sounds good. I will gladly see you on the red carpet.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's so exciting to hear somebody just talk about the grind, because so many people were like, they think it comes easy, and you're talking about the grind. It's like, hey, you had a rough pass, and you're not using it you're not letting it hold you back. It's just adding fuel to your fire. You're figuring out your balance. You're learning along the way. Do you know everything? No. Are you failing? Absolutely. But you pick yourself up and you just keep going. You found the person that's right for you, and you're just working, man. Like, and that's what I appreciate the most, is you're just working. Like,
Yep.
like, you're not dream building, because there's a difference. People enjoy the dream building process. That's all fun. It gets you all googly and juicy inside because it's fun. Then the dream building needs to happen, and then that's when it's like, oh, ouch, this hurts.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to do that. Well, you must not want it bad enough.
I know. There's a quote that I love, and it says, "You can't build a reputation on what you say you're going to do."
Oh, yes. I love it. I mean, that's my thing too. It's like, oh, people tell me things all the time. It's like, wow, great. That means nothing to me. Well, I guess it's like, talk is cheap, dude. I'm all about action. What are you doing? Like, what actions are you doing? What step? Like, I don't care if it's a baby step. Just take a step towards your goal. Like, don't keep asking for a handout. But anyway, because like I said, I will keep going down these rabbit holes if you keep opening them up. So I want to make sure people can find you. Where can people find you? I know you're on Instagram, and you got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So you got like your whole fit thing, you got your realtor thing, and you've got everything going on. You got 30 different. You're there's you, like you're the body of the octopus, and then you got like 8 tentacles going out and like everywhere, and you're working all of them. So where can people find you and get more information, get your music, download your music, buy your music? Give us the details.
All right. So, the skinny. It's so obviously my Instagram and all my socials, if you just look Elle Mears, so it's ELLEMEARS. So if you search that on any social media platforms, you'll be able to find me. So Instagram, Facebook, I think Facebook and Twitter, I'm under Elle Mears Official. You can go to ellemears.com. That's where my website and all my information is there. On Spotify, you search Elle Mears, that'll come up now too. And one of the biggest things that if anybody's listening that they want to help out, Spotify right now, we're really on a big Spotify campaign. So if you go into Spotify and search Elle Mears, make sure to go up and follow my page, because that actually will add to my monthly listenership. And if you either listen to or pre-save my next single, which is coming out on the 10th, it actually helps me kind of climb up the charts a little bit more too. So it'll help get me on some bigger playlists and things like that. So that's all of that. And then YouTube, I will have a couple of new videos coming out there soon too. So YouTube is Elle Mears. I think Elle Mears is everything. So as long as you type Elle Mears, you'll be able to find me wherever you're looking for me.
And so, like, if they wanted to, like, a one-stop shop just to be able to get, to all the different verticals, would it be Instagram, or would it be your personal website?
Equal. So Instagram or the website. We're actually the website, we're kind of under construction right now. We're updating it and doing a few new things. Okay. But everything else, you can find it on my Instagram. So just Instagram/Elle Mears.
Perfect. And so if you can't find it, then just go to the podcast website, therealjefffield.com. Look under featured podcast speakers, look under Elle Mears, and her Instagram handle is on there. So you can click on that. Go get her music. And
if you guys need to buy a house, hit me up.
For sure. In Nashville. And then she's going to hook you up, because she's going to go check out Jess Lenovelle's The Listing Lab and see how that works. I mean, she made 7 figures from it, so she must be doing something right. She's helping other people do it too. So I was like, hey, man, if I talk to a realtor, I'm like, hey, check it out. I'm not in real estate, but she knows what she's doing, so you might as well follow success, right? Success leaves clues. She's got a clue. And so, but thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. I look forward to getting my exclusive when you win a Grammy, or Ryan.
Sounds good.
It's a double dipper. They like teamwork there. So whoever it is, you or Ryan, I'm looking forward to the exclusive, and we will have you back on, because you're just going to accomplish so much more. And thank you so much for your time. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Jeff. You too. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Blast Talks. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends too, because we got a lot more